If your marriage is struggling, don't fix it. Marriage exposes and amplifies the contents of your heart. If you're lustful as a single person and you don't deal with that lust, by the time you are getting married, you'll be twice as lustful in marriage.
7 years has honestly taught us that it's important to create a very conducive environment to have the uncomfortable conversations.
Welcome, guys.
Why the hand?
I'm used to it.
No, do something different. Baby, you are 8 years married. New beginnings.
Babe, this is what real seasoned YouTubers do. They do this.
No, you start doing something different.
Seasoned YouTubers. If you see a YouTuber who's not doing this while introducing, that's not a seasoned YouTuber. Serious YouTubers do this. And then now those who have really transcended, like they're on another realm, they do two hands. They do what's up, guys.
Okay.
So for us who are on the middle ground, us we are this. And then those who are starting.
Okay, you're wasting so much time.
That's fine. Okay.
You don't have to use your hands. Just try without hands. Try it.
Okay. What's up, guys?
Okay.
Anyway, like on a serious note. What's up, guys? Thanks a lot.
The hand. No.
It's become part of me.
No, it shouldn't. Hold your knees and talk. You did start it so well.
Like this. Okay. What's up, guys?
No finger.
Okay, let me sit on my hands then.
No finger.
Baby, you know me, I'm expressive. I talk with my hands.
Try something new, babe.
Okay.
Change is good. Yeah.
Welcome, guys. This is...
You just want... Okay.
You can feel my hands.
Yeah.
Okay. What's up, guys? This is Soila and Curtis. Welcome.
Felt like I'm about to say a poem. Hi, my name is Soila and Curtis. Welcome. But anyway, guys, welcome so much to this new video that we're about to share with you. Thank you so much for being part of it. No.
Okay.
No, I can do without.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being part of the various videos that we've been putting up, and the engagement, the love, the likes, and everything. Like, you guys love our friends so much.
Yeah.
And we'll try bring more friends who are willing. Let me tell you, our friends don't like being here. Most of our friends don't like being on camera, so...
Yeah. They are shy people.
They're shy people.
No, they are not shy,
they
but they are just...
prefer their private life private.
They are private citizens.
They're private citizens.
The fact that you see them on camera, it really takes a lot to convince them.
Yeah.
Some of them, there are those who really enjoy it. Like, I think Eddie's getting the hang of it.
Eddie?
Even Akina McKenna, those are social media people.
Yeah.
But there are some people who they are like,
Now that's by grace of social media people, but some others, we have to convince them highly. I don't know what we'll do, but man, we should meet those fantastic people.
They're really fun guys when you get to know them.
Guys,
it's just this lens thing that they're not really sure about.
We're not doing it.
Yeah.
But so today it's me and Curtis, as it has always been.
Yeah.
You know?
So thanks a lot for joining in. And like we say, before you go far, like, comment, share, and subscribe. The reason we want you to do these 4 things is because the more you comment, the more you like, and the more you subscribe to our channel, the more you tell YouTube that, hey, we like these guys and we think that more people should also get to know about them. So YouTube begins to recommend our videos and our channel to more people.
Can you explain
so like,
that story?
comment, share, and subscribe. No, because there are people who are new here. There are people who this is their first video.
Okay.
So we gotta let them know, you know.
Okay.
So this is Soila and Curtis. And just in case you are new and you are wondering who is Soila and who is Curtis, I am Curtis with a silent T.
I am Soila.
As you know, every time we hit a new year in our marriage,
New
we
year.
have to come and share something that we've learned. And first of all, we're just grateful to God because, hey, 7 years, it really takes the hand of God.
May you stretch though?
Nimekustretch. When do umeni stretch?
No.
Umeni stretch.
No.
But anyway, we are glad we are here and we've just come to share what we've learned for these 7 years.
Yeah.
So, just as you've seen on the title, what I've learned, I don't know if it's the same thing with you, but you can add your own or you can jump into whatever I'm going to share. For me, this is what I've learned by the time we're hitting the 7 years. If your marriage is struggling, don't fix it. If your marriage is struggling, don't fix it, because marriage by design is perfect. There's nothing missing, there's nothing broken. So there is nothing to fix. Okay? So if you're in a marriage and you guys are struggling, you feel like, hey, we are not getting along, things are hard, the problem is not the marriage. Because marriage, the way it is designed, marriage is designed to expose the condition of your heart. Marriage is designed to reveal the condition of your heart. So if the marriage is struggling, consider that the problem is not the marriage. The problem is the two people, the hearts of the two people involved. All right? And just to touch in a bit on, I don't want to go deep into this, but for the sake of those who are new here, we've shared in this channel that life is about principles, all right? And in the context of marriage, we can talk about love the whole day. But until somebody comes and expresses it, love is just a concept, it's just an idea. It requires a human being to come and demonstrate it. That's when love gets meaning, okay? Same thing with mercy. I can talk about mercy. Oh, what is mercy? Mercy is this, mercy is that. But until somebody comes and demonstrates that mercy to you, then it really has no meaning. All right? Now, for example, in marriage, there are multiple principles. There are principles that govern how finances work. When you put those principles together, you get a system of finance. All right? There are a number of principles that govern how we talk to each other. When you put those principles together, you got what we call the communication system, or a system of communication. All right? There are certain rules or principles that govern sex. When you put those principles together, you get what we call a system of sex, or a system of intimacy. Now, when you put these systems together, you get what we call an institution. So if you go to a financial institution, such as a bank, you don't just go to a bank and say, I need 2 million shillings. And then the banker just gives you 2 million shillings. It doesn't work like that. There are certain principles and systems in place that have to be followed for you to be given that 2 million shillings. All right? Same thing, if you go to a health institution such as a hospital, you'll find someone there called a doctor or a nurse. Now, if this doctor or this nurse does not follow the proper principles or the proper systems that have been outlined in that hospital, someone could die. Someone could lose their life because of the carelessness of the doctor. So the expression or the manifestation of the institution of health has to find expression through a doctor or a medical practitioner. Same thing, the institution of finances, such as a bank, for those institutions, for those principles to find expression, there has to be a banker who has to be there to demonstrate how the bank functions. Now let's come back to the institution of marriage. For the institution of marriage to function, it is the two people in the marriage, it is the two spouses in the marriage that have to demonstrate how that institution is supposed to function. So if Soila and I are married and we are not, probably following or applying the principles that we've learned so far, it doesn't matter how well our intentions are. It doesn't matter how well we are well-meaning. The marriage is not going to flourish if we don't express or manifest the principles that are locked up in this marriage. I think that was easy enough, right? So if our marriage is not working, the problem is not, we need to fix our marriage, blah, blah. No, the problem is we need to fix our heart. Because the problem is our heart. If we deal with our hearts, you'll notice just how almost miraculously your marriage will begin to repair itself. All right? It is not the marriage with the problem. It is the hearts of the individuals in that problem. The other thing about marriage you'll discover, and for those of you who are married, you understand this. Marriage exposes and amplifies the contents of your heart. If you're lustful as a single person and you don't deal with that lust, by the time you are getting married, you'll be twice as lustful in marriage. If you're selfish as a single person and you don't deal with that selfishness and you get married, you'll be twice as selfish. If you are controlling as a single person and you don't deal with that aspect of you being controlling, by the time you're in marriage, you'll be twice as controlling, because that's what marriage does. It exposes and amplifies the condition of your heart. So if your marriage is having challenges, consider, like I said earlier, the problem is not the marriage. The marriage does not need any fixing. The problem is the two people in that marriage. Are they walking by the principles? Are they walking by the systems? Are they expressing and manifesting the proper attributes of what that institution requires them to manifest? I don't know if that's what you learned as well.
My point would be, for these 7 years of marriage that I've learned, is to make it easy to have the uncomfortable conversations. Mm-hmm. It's particularly when we see that it's been years and some changes are not being effected. You know, how do you bring up such tough conversation in a more easier environment for somebody to open up and share what has been bugging them and what's hindering their growth and progress? So 7 years has honestly taught us that it's important to create a very conducive environment to have the uncomfortable conversations, because it's an environment that makes it easier for us to move and act on some of those things that you're bringing afloat. And I think that has been us the last 2 to 3 years, because our son is around 3 years now. And we started having the tough conversations then, because, past honeymoon stage is just not us now. There are different people, new dynamics to consider in the family. And we need every single system in this marriage to be functioning and moving, every cog to be moving well. So if we see there's a struggle in this particular, in finances, there's a struggle in communication, there's a struggle in execution, then we have ensured to create a very safe space to have the tough conversation of calling each other out to the place of, doing better in the institution and how we can support one another in doing better for the institution.
I like what you've pointed out about having the tough conversations. Because I think for a lot of people, we'd rather avoid the tough conversations and assume that there's really nothing to talk about as far as that is concerned.
And build perception.
Yeah, because now when you're not having the tough conversations, you are not getting help. So Soila does something, I don't like it, but I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be confrontational, so I keep quiet about it. But meanwhile, in my head, I'm building all the wrong assumptions about who she is and the intentions that she has towards me. And just to add to what she had said, even as I combine it to the place of dealing with ourselves rather than trying to repair the marriage, but repairing our own hearts. What I've also realized is that, you see, God doesn't help couples who are intelligent. God doesn't help couples who have read all the books, they've attended all the marriage seminars, they have all the right intentions for their marriage. God helps couples who are humble. Now, I'm not saying that it's not good to, seek for knowledge and all that, but at the end of the day, God is looking for people who will just come and say, hey, God, this is my heart. I'm looking at it and there are certain things that I don't like about it. There are certain things that are not good. Please sort out my heart. That is the humility that God is looking for. But when I'm coming here and I'm like, you know what, Soila has offended me, but I'm not going to talk about it anyway. I'll just be tough and assume it's not disturbing me. You see, that's a sign of pride. Because you are being irritated. But you are not, you don't want to accept that you are being irritated, because you feel like if I show that this thing is irritating me, it will be a sign of weakness. So I have to act like I'm strong, like it's not bothering me. You see, and now when you put yourself in that kind of a posture, you are not really inviting God to come and help you. One thing that I learned is that even when Soila has done something that has offended me, there's a part of me that will be like, this is too petty. I don't need to address it. It's a small thing. But the truth of the matter is that it's offended me, as petty as it is. it's offended me. So it's critical for me to just, acknowledge and come and say, hey, God. And I'm talking about God a lot because I've also come to learn over the years that it's better for me to sort myself out with God before I come and sort myself out with her. Because sometimes when I feel like she's offended me and then I go to God, God begins to show me things and I realize, Soila didn't even mean anything wrong when she did or said what she said. So by the time I'm approaching her, I'm not coming with bitterness. I'm like, I understand you didn't mean it, but let's talk about it anyway. So sometimes it's just good to take time, seek God about it. Let God deal with your heart first before you go and approach the other person, lest you go and make things worse. Now, this is the thing also. It's not in my place to go and tell Soila where you deal with your heart, It's my place to deal with my heart, not her heart. The issues in my heart, that is my responsibility. The issues in her heart, that is hers. And the truth of the matter is, as Soila was saying earlier, it takes two to tango. It is very rare, very, very rare that you'll find a marriage where one person is just the one person, where it's just one person with a problem. Most of the times, it's both people with issues. Most of the times. Most of the time. So, in as much as whatever your spouse has done to you, and it's legit, your spouse has offended you, they've treated you badly, granted. But check at how you're responding also. When they did that thing to you, what was the first thing that came to your mind? Why was the first thing that came to your mind to divorce them? When they offended you, why is it that the first thing that came to your mind was a negative thought? You see, in as much as whatever they've done to you is wrong, it is also revealing your reaction, either in thought, in speech, or in action, all right, is revealing to you the state of your heart, all right? Every time your partner offends you, be very cautious to note what is the first thing that came to my mind, or what is the first thing that I spoke, or what is the first thing that I did. That is what is showing you the health of your heart. The other thing I would mention is, if your marriage is struggling, once again, you're doing just fine. Because you see, that's what marriage is supposed to do. We don't get married so that we can be happy. You've heard that statement a lot. Happiness will come later on, but that's not why we get married. We get married to grow up. We get married to mature. We get married to become holy. And sometimes the process of growing up and the process of becoming holy, there are certain things about you that will be addressed that are not good. So if you find yourself that you're struggling in marriage because all this negativity about both of you is coming up, imagine that's what marriage is supposed to do. That's what marriage is supposed to do. Marriage is supposed to unearth all the vile things about the both of you. Not so that you may condemn and criticize each other, or so that you can say, hey, okay, so there's this part of me that I've discovered that is not so good. God, please help me. You understand? So those conflicts that we are having in marriage, they are normal. They are supposed to be there. The issue is not the conflicts. The issue is, are you growing out of them? As the famous saying usually goes, are you becoming better or bitter?
And I think even when I was thinking about the various things that 7 years of marriage has taught us, is to continuously revisit the vision of the marriage. We can easily get lost in the daily activities.
Yep.
And goals change this year. January comes, you've written the goals. By the time it's April, you're completely taken by so many responsibilities, you have forgotten where you're going. It makes more sense to continuously revisit the general vision of where the institution is going and the little goals that you guys want to achieve to ensure that you get to the bigger vision. Like, is it the monthly goals? Is it quarterly goals? Is it every half-year goal? I think it keeps the relationship good in as far as, even when you're fighting about certain minute things here and there, the goal that you have continuously remembered
brings you back to track.
Brings you back to track, because you're like, okay, this is doing this and it's hindering us from accessing this particular goal. So what do we do to address us so that it makes it easier for us to, meet this particular goal? So 7 years has also taught us you just don't have goals in your first year of marriage. you also continuously have to revisit your marital goals.
Keeps evolving.
When you are growing in marriage and when you are piling up years and you're piling up understanding and you're piling up knowledge. And then now that's where you apply those wisdom, because wisdom in itself is the application of knowledge that you've acquired, over time. Because it's easy for us to have knowledge about how an institution should work. Wisdom is how we apply this particular knowledge. And guys, by the time we are sharing some of these things, we're sharing about communication and sharing about having the tough conversation. Guys, these are things that we have experienced in our own marriage. They were so uncomfortable. They still are uncomfortable. But the state of our hearts has made it very palatable to have those conversations, to call each other out to places where God has called us to be. The other time I was thinking of how graceful Curtis has been with me the entire years that we've been married, because I'm one stubborn girl, for sure. What? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Oh, the mood in the air is just happy,
That's not true. And I tend to persist on my way. If my eyes is set, my eyes are set, and that's it. But I have seen how graceful the guy has been with me for so many years, from 2nd year of marriage to even 7th year of marriage. 6th, I can still pick up 5th year of marriage, some of the things that I was battling with, and the guy was just like, okay, I'll just wait for you, These are the things I'm telling you. I wouldn't change in the first few months, but he'll still keep coming and hey, I'm still here I'm back to talk about the other thing, I'm back to talk about the same thing. I'm back to talk about the same thing. You haven't changed. I'm like, guys, can we just move on? But no, not Curtis. Curtis will still call me out in those areas. But the one thing that I really appreciated about him these 7 years is how patient and graceful he has been to me as a wife. I know he's not even aware of it.
Yeah, I'm wondering how come we didn't talk about this part.
Why? There's no part to talk about. And God brought these things this week, honestly. And I remember how in our 2nd year of marriage, I was doing this job where I got so tired. I told Curtis, I'm out. I'm not doing it. He's like, you are sure? I'm like, yes, I'm out. But no, money's look like this. You should stick around. I'm like, no. Okay, I'm sticking around. 2 weeks down the line, I'm back to him. I'm like, bro, I'm out. He's like, have you consulted God? Yes. I don't care what God is going to say, but I'm out. He's like, okay, if that's what you want, we will figure out what to do. He said, fine. And then after 2 weeks or something, I come back with a resignation letter. I'm like, bro, I'm out. I'm happy. Thank you. So he supports me. I don't know what conversation we were having with God that time, but that's it. Then after that, that's 2018, 2019, never ever pestered me to go back to work. It's like, oh, and guys, we don't have money, because also him is just trying to figure out things by himself. But never has he ever woken up and said, woman, as my helper, you need to be out the door. Find something. You have to bring half of what I'm bringing, Curtis would wake up, leave me in bed, fellas, snoozing. And he'll still call me, how are you doing? Where are you? I'm like, I'm in bed. It's 12 p.m. I was like, okay. Have you eaten? I like the most gentle calls and graceful period. And then got pregnant, having children and all that. Firstborn, took a firstborn, never, as he even said, sis, baby's grown, should go back to work. Like, never. Like, you showed me so much grace during that period. Never did you put pressure. And I know people are put for pressure to access and go bring and win bread with a husband. But looking in hindsight, you allowed me room to grow. You allowed me room to think. You allowed me room to, seek God in as far as the next direction. And I didn't feel the pressure to go outside there to work. Yet, we really needed the money. People might say I was selfish for not, arising to the occasion and going outside there. But honestly, there's so much that I was dealing with. And I wasn't going to just rush outside there for the sake of, what I learned, what we did, or what Curtis led us to do is readjust the lifestyle that we were having to accommodate what we were earning at that particular time.
At the time.
What could afford at the time. So that's what happened. And got pregnant again, in the middle of just not even me going back to work and all that. So I have been out of work for 3 years, and the guy has never been like, sister, I need your help. No, he found his way of still providing for the family and still allowing me to be home, mother the children, carry another pregnancy. If anything, we've shared our sickness stories when I was pregnant with the second born and how he'd care for us and all that. And for me, what for sure this 7 years has taught me is the joy of extending grace to one another. Even when we are failing short in some of the responsibility they're supposed to be carrying. Like, it's an understanding the state of heart of the individual and saying, okay, how can I support you instead of how can I pressure you? Because you can still pressure and somebody goes out and they turn out to be worse than they were. So
I think that's the truth of the matter is that we often say marriage is 100, yeah? It's not 50-50.
Yeah.
It's 100. You bring your 100, I bring my 100. But the truth of the matter is that sometimes one of you just doesn't have the 100. Sometimes one of you, even both of you, sometimes you're like, hey,
you're surviving on 50.
I'm coming from work, I don't have 100 to give. And the other person is like, hey, even me, I'm beat, I don't have 100 to give. And on those days, all you can give to each other is 20-20. And it doesn't help anyone to start beating down on someone who does not have capacity to give their all. It doesn't help, because you'll beat down on them. Tomorrow they'll wake up and you've injured them. They might arise and be like, hey, we had a fight about this. Let me give my 100. But they are injured. So there's something broken there that is going to arise again in the future. So for me, I've just come to learn that we strive to give 100, but sometimes life will just not allow you to have the 100. And in those moments, you need to really extend grace, knowing that one day they will rise back again and give the 100 that they ought to give. So I think for me, that's my philosophy in marriage.
But it has been such an honor to have you as a husband these 7 years. Man, you really are a good husband, bro. Sasa
your PS5 come through sasa.
You're still, guy, I'm not going to breathe until a PS5 comes to
your
this
PS5.
Because...
Hey, 7 years. Maybe 7 years of dealing with you.
What are you trying to say?
See, a PS5 better come through, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, so for me, what I would say about you for 7 years, I think Soila teaches me to take it easy. I think sometimes I can put so much pressure on myself and I don't think she understands that pressure, because there's a pressure that only men and husbands understand, man warrior, some of my friends like to call it, where there's so much pressure to settle your family and build your family a home, take them out of renting and put them out of a place where it's home for them, provide a good life for them. Now you have kids, you don't want to take them into some shoddy school, you want them to have the best. And sometimes that pressure, it is subconscious. We don't wake up in the morning and think, what pressure can I put on myself today? It's just pressure that comes with society sometimes. But what I like about Soila is that Soila looks at those things and it's like in her mind, it's like those things are not even that important to her, She's like, yeah, it would be good to have a house, but you want to kill yourself because of that kind of stress, So don't allow that stress to get into your head and you start thinking of, that kind of stuff. So I think I appreciate that from you. Like, you just remind me to take one day at a time, to relax, You always put me at that place of feeling like, oh, okay, Curtis, I get your concerns, but what I need is you. I think that's what I've always felt with you. Like, there are sometimes I can't sleep at 1 because I'm editing, I'm reading, I'm doing all these things, and then Soila is pissed because she's like, dude, I don't need all these things you're doing. I just need you to be present. I just need you to be here for the family. Yeah, that's what I would appreciate about you.
Are you happy 7 years?
I'm happy.
I'm happy. Yeah.
We've had really good moments. We've had some really painful moments. We've had moments where we're by like, okay, there's still this issue. We've not really fully sorted it out. But we are okay. It's not in the danger zone, but it's not 100% sorted out.
Both of us are aware of it.
Yeah, so there are those. And I've also come to learn and understand that when you marry someone, remember that this person's life did not start the day you exchanged vows at the altar. This person had an entire life before you. This person had an entire life before they met you. And there are things that happened to this person during that time that are negative. And it conditioned this person to be a certain way. Now, this is the interesting part. Sometimes this person is not even aware of what certain experiences made them to be. This person may not even be aware about some of the negative attitudes and outlooks in life that they developed as a result of certain experiences they had.
Yeah.
And some of those things will begin to be exposed while you are in the marriage. And if you are not conscious of those things, you'll begin to get shocked at certain things you discover about this person, and you'll begin to wonder, was this person hiding all these things from me? No, they are not hiding. It's just that the environment was not safe for those things to be exposed. Now, the reason those things have gotten exposed in the marriage is because marriage is supposed to be the safe environment.
For healing to occur.
For healing. So those things about you and your spouse that happen to them when they are growing up, upbringing, when they are kids, and the subconscious just found a way of blocking them. Sometimes the brain tries to protect itself.
Yeah.
So it blocks certain memories because at that time you have no capacity to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then you get married, and then all of a sudden you begin to realize, you have a fear of this, you have a fear of sex, you have a fear of being poor, you have a fear of certain things because of the things that happened to you and your family when you grew up. Now, the reason these things are coming up in marriage is because marriage is supposed to be, as Soila said, the safe environment for healing. And who should be your spouse's shoulder to lean on during that time? If it's not you, it's you. So I think those are the other things I've just learned over the 7 years. It's been very interesting.
7 years, can't wait for 8 years. We'll be here when you're 80.
We've started the 8 now.
Yes.
Now we have finished 7. We have started the 8.
Yeah. New beginnings.
Yeah.
It's the year of new beginnings. And for sure, new beginnings are already beginning to see. I'm seeing, like, they're just transitions happening in our lives right now. And they just find us like, okay, we need to make a decision on this matter.
Yeah.
There's this new thing that is coming up. What should we do about it?
So, what is this?
It's like,
Is this one of your new expressions?
It's the hua.
For the 8th year.
Yeah. It's like, it's a mshtuko. Yeah, okay. That's what I meant. But new beginnings, for sure. And glad you'll be witnessing some of these things with us. And some of it will just be in the family front. Yeah. But thank you so much, guys. Yeah. Unless you have anything else to add.
I think that's it. So for me, just to reiterate, if your marriage is struggling, don't fix it. What you need to fix is the condition of your heart. When both of you as spouses go before God and you say, God, here's our hearts. Some ugly stuff out in there, some pretty ugly stuff in there. Please deal with us. The moment you begin to do that, God begins to help your hearts. He begins to help the two of you individually. And your marriage, without even any intervention by your intervention, your marriage, without any direct intervention from you, it just begins to heal itself. Why? Because the two people in it are getting healed. The marriage will always reflect the hearts of the people in it. So that's what I would say. Like, comment, share. Oh, ilikuwa hivi. Wow. Like, comment, share.
What are you doing?
And subscribe. Like, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah. See you on
Leave
the
the
next
finger,
one.
please.
So just accept me the way
No.
I am. This package came with me.
No, we are changing.
This came with me. Kubali tu iishe.
It's so Gen Z, man.
See, I'm Gen Z at heart.
No, I want boomer energy.
Oh, you have boom. So boomer energy is something Soila and I usually say. So boomer energy is when you're just being so boring, like a baby boomer. You know, baby boomer. Baby boomer is a generation that was born which year. They are old people now. So baby boomers have no energy. They just want to chill and relax. They don't have time to jump around. Yeah,
So,
I want to keep belembele.
yeah.
So when we are being in that state, Soila is like, we're just meeting boomer energy right now.
It's good. Boomer energy is
So
good.
it's good. But anyway, guys, cheers.